I've never met a person who's not addicted to something. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining Renewed Mind Breakthroughs with Ashley. It's so funny, people think of addiction, and really all they think of is chemicals cigarettes, alcohol, marijuana, drugs, whatever. That's what comes to mind when people think of addiction. But there's so many addictions, you guys. Like I said, I have never met someone who wasn't addicted to something. Let's go down the list. And this is just a few, okay? So, gambling, like, that is definitely addiction that will ruin people's lives, families, tear them apart. And it's so funny because, we treat or help people through gambling addiction at my work, like not only chemical, but gambling. And like the people will come in there with their gambling addictions and somehow feel like they are better than people with chemical addictions. And I just look at them and just laugh inside because it's like, no, no, you're not. Like, you're spending an insane amount of money that could go to so much more good. Like, it's tearing your family apart. It's like not serving you in any way. Like you're there for how many hours at a time or whatever. Like that's affecting your health. Like so many consequences come from it. People's phones. Like how many people are addicted to their phones? Like they just like cannot go like a certain period of time without looking. It's like they're sitting down to the table and they can't even help but have their phone there. It's sitting right there. Like, oh, that drives me nuts. Like, get your phone away when you're at the table. Like, social media, TV, gaming, like all of the screen things, like just like mind numbing. Gossip. That's an addiction. I see so many people who just can't help. Like, they find out some juicy little tidbit and they gotta go spread it to the world. Like, that is not your business. Like, stop. Just stop. Like, they are just addicted. Like, it's a compulsion. Like, they just can't help themselves. Like, let's read the definition of addiction. A complex condition characterized by a compulsive engagement in a rewarding stimulus despite adverse consequences. It often involves a loss of control, continued use despite harmful consequences, and an intense desire or craving for the substance or behavior. Idleness. Like just some people are addicted to laziness. Like they just come home and all they want to do is be lazy. Like they know that they should be doing something better. Like, but they're just so compelled to do nothing. And it's like, that's hurting your family too. That's hurting yourself. Like shopping right there with gambling, you are spending way too much money. Like you do not need all these material possessions. Like that's an addiction. Exercise. I mean, exercise, don't get me wrong. I think that is so good. It's so good for your mental health, your physical health, all the things. But like I have seen people come out of chemical addiction and they just throw their addiction, like their addictive behaviors, right into exercise. So there they are, and they're exercising like crazy, and then oh, something happens where you can't exercise, and oh, look at how easy it is to slip back into that chemical addiction. Like there is a point where you're just overdoing it, where it's too much work. You're not there for your family. Like, you don't need all that money, but yet there you are. Just work, 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 work. That's all you think about, all you talk about, like work. That can be an addiction. Relationships, you're just so addicted to being in a relationship. Like, you just can't even stand to be alone and figure out who you are. You just jump from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next. Sex, porn, like, we know how bad that can be for families and tearing people apart. And then that brings me back to the one that just drives me the most crazy. Food. People, in my personal experience, people with food addictions are the most self-righteous people. Like they judge people with chemical addictions and they don't even see their own addictions. Like your addiction is all over your body. You can see that addiction. You can see you're not honoring that temple where the Holy Spirit dwells. Like, God did not make us to be that big. If you are having to take all these blood pressure meds, you're pre-diabetic, your doctor's telling you need to change your ways, but yet you don't, your joints hurt, your back hurts, like, we are not made to carry all that weight. And it's just, in my personal experience, those people just, they just judge other people, and they don't even see their own addiction. I mean, it can be salt, sugar, caffeine. Caffeine's a big one, pop or coffee. Like, people are just so addicted to these substances, and they don't even see it for what it is. And I just really feel like we need to not judge other people. Like, your addiction is not better than someone else's. Your sin is not better than someone else's. God does not look at you and be like, oh, your sin is here and that person's sin is there, so you're better. Like, no, it is all unrighteousness. It is all ugly to God. It is all sin. Like, pure and simple. Anyways, just some thoughts I was having. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. If you got any value from this, hit that like button. Thanks for joining.